Now to discuss the war in Iran and ongoing pressure on President Trump, you're looking at CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe. Ed, good morning. Help our viewers understand all the variables at play with the president's decisions right now.
Well, look, with the war about to hit its fifth week, Errol, President Trump's feeling pressure even from some of his own party to bring the conflict to a close. And for the first time, he's revealing how he knows Iranian leaders are ready to negotiate.
They want to make a deal.
Insisting Iran is, quote, begging to bring an end to the war.
I say they're lousy fighters, but they're great negotiators.
President Trump rejected reports he's the one desperate to make a deal.
I'm the opposite of desperate. I don't care.
The president said he's postponing attacks on Iran's infrastructure for 10 days at Iran's request.
They asked for 7. You're going to say, oh, Trump's a terrible negotiator. They asked for 7. And I said, I'm going to give you 10.
But with Iran denying any direct talks and mocking the U.S. as negotiating with yourself, Trump explained how he's confident progress is being made.
Can I reveal the present?
For the first time, he revealed that big, expensive gift from Iran was 10 oil tankers allowed through the Strait of Hormuz.
I said, well, I guess we're dealing with the right people.
He says the move proves the people he's talking to have power to control the key shipping corridor Iran has effectively closed off for almost a month. Oil tanker traffic is down 90 to 95% since before the war. Economists now expect U.S. inflation to jump to more than 4% this year because of the conflict. Mortgage rates moved higher for the fourth straight week, while mortgage applications are down. Global oil prices are up more than 40%, and the American cost of gas is up by almost $1 per gallon in the last month. And amid those economic headwinds, the president says he's not yet ready to roll back the federal gas tax, which is more than 18 cents a gallon and a quarter a gallon on diesel. But he says it's something he could do if necessary. Errol?
All right, Ed O'Keefe at the White House for us. Ed, thanks. For more on this, we turn to CBS News foreign correspondent Ramy Inocencio. He's in our London bureau. Ramy, good morning. We heard there from Ed the perspective from President Trump, but what are we hearing from Iran about the prospects of a deal?
Yeah, Errol, no reaction yet from Iran, but at least that's just publicly. Tehran's big trump card, though, is its control that we're talking about, its chokehold, really, over the energy passage that is the Strait of Hormuz. And we were hearing that Iran is now charging some ships, some commercial ships, so they can sail safely through the Strait of Hormuz. One Iranian lawmaker said at least one vessel was charged as much as $2 million to pass through, and specifically to cover the country's cost of war. But, under international law, no ships should have to pay or have to ask for permission. And as you might expect, reaction to this hasn't been great. It's being called Tehran's toll booth by Lloyd's List, which is a maritime intelligence firm. And that's more being diplomatic, really. Others are describing it like protection money, and the Iranian regime more like a mob boss. And then some are blasting it as economic terrorism, like the head of Abu Dhabi state-run oil company. Take a listen.
When Iran holds Hormuz hostage, every nation pays the ransom. No country can be allowed to destabilize the global economy in this way. Not now, not ever.
Yeah, and the UAE, which Abu Dhabi is a part of there, is now pushing dozens of countries to form what's being called a Hormuz security force to try and reopen and to defend that strait. And right now I'm looking at the price of oil, Errol, $111 a barrel for Brent crude, the global benchmark, near almost its recent high since the start of this war.
And Ramy, let's focus a bit more on the Strait of Hormuz, because no matter what, it's the chokehold on it has impacted markets around the world and specifically Asia. Help us understand how exactly.
Yeah, every day we're getting reports of something else, more stress points, more protests happening out of the Asia-Pacific. We're seeing overnight out of Australia that there's been some panic buying, people hoarding, some gas stations running dry. The country has about a 30-day, a 1-month reserve of oil and gas, but that is far below the 90 days that's recommended by the International Energy Agency, and that is an issue happening across much of Asia-Pacific. Japan, though, yesterday released 80 million barrels of oil, started to release 80 million barrels of oil from its national reserves, but it ranks as the third biggest in terms of petroleum reserves in the world. So the country there much more buffered from the volatility Flip side, though, the Philippines confirmed that it actually imported its first Russian crude yesterday since Moscow invaded Ukraine. Remember, we've had sanctions on Moscow because of that war. The Philippines breaking now a 5-year moratorium, but what they got in was only about 1.5 days of fuel for the country, so we might expect them to do more. And then Beijing, got to put them in here, banned an export of all of its fuel exports early on, but China might be relatively insulated. And the reason for this, again, to these strategic petroleum reserves, these SPRs, China has got the world's biggest stockpile, both government and commercial, that it's been building up really over the past 2 decades, making sure that they are not shocked by this. And just for number 2, I want to throw out that the United States is number 2 after China.
All right, Ramy Inocencio in London. Ramy, thanks.